Hey, what is it, sexy beast? GhostSickness, Tristan here. Now, if you didn't know, about 2 months ago, I got myself in a car crash, and it's been kind of a journey getting everything fixed and getting everything taken care of, because I did not report it to the insurance agency, because the girl that I talked to, there's 3 videos that you guys should watch before you watch this one. It's the actual getting in the car crash. It's the I got completely fucked over. The car update, I got my car back, as well as this video. So yeah, 3 videos before this one. It's a 4-part series about getting everything fixed and done, and oh my god, it's been quite the journey. So basically, to sum it up, I hit a car, and I took it to a guy to get fixed, and he painted it, and he accidentally primered it. I didn't want him to primer it, and it primered this entire big section, right? The accident only really ruined and scraped off a little bit of paint on some of the metal, and the fact that he primered this entire thing totally screwed me over. But bottom line, everything I'm about to talk about in this video is completely my fault. I'm the one who hit that car. I'm the one who put myself in the situation, and it's been definitely a learning situation and everything for me, and I'm going to kind of go through everything like that today, and I hope you guys are interested, and I hope you guys understand what's been going on in my life, and so you can learn from it also. So let's start with the basics. He primered this, and so it's gray on white. This is what it looked like, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I need to make this look good. I need it to be white on white, and what the hell do I do? So I looked online, and I bought touch-up paint, because I could not find my paint for my car in spray. I could not find it for my make and model and year and color and everything like that, because my car is 17 years old and it's just too old. They just don't carry it anymore. It just doesn't exist. And so I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Fuck. I'll buy the next best thing. I'll buy touch-up paint, because it'll be my exact same shade, and I'll get, you know, touch-up paint, and I'll get clear coat, and I'll put it on just this little part of my car on my hood. Not a big deal, right? And this is the kind of area that it'd be going on, guys. This is what it looked like before I did everything like that. So today I'm going to talk about painting it and how much of a fucking bitch that's been, and all that kind of stuff related to it. Now, keep in mind, this is entirely my fault, so just keep that in mind when I complain about certain things. I'm fully aware of that. So anyway, let's start with the touch-up paint. So it's $30 with touch-up paint, clear coat, and the shipping was like $12 for some reason. I'm like, what the hell? Why was it so much to ship? But whatever, I need it. I want to be done with this. I want to call it a day. I want to, you know, get it, paint it, call it a day. And so one day when my parents were at work, and so I could park in the garage, because they normally park outside, and yeah, because that's just how our garage system works, and we have a nice system. It works well. So I finally parked in the garage, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I taped off the area, because it's just touch-up paint, right? However, it's just touch-up paint. Touch-up paint is not meant for areas larger than a dime. I looked this up. It's a thing, and totally makes a lot of sense. But look, I couldn't find spray paint in my exact color and thing for my car. So I bought touch-up paint. Now they come with a little tiny brush on the inside of the lid. And so I was trying to cover this big area, and this stuff dries immediately, dude. Practically immediately. You use touch-up paint, and it'll just, once it gets thin, dries immediately. And I'm like, god fucking damn it. You're supposed to wait like 30 minutes between layers and everything like that. So I taped it off, and, you know, like I said, this is what it looked like before. It was nice and gray, right off in the corner. I'm like, okay, well, shit. Okay, so I started painting it, and I'm like, oh, man, what the fuck do I do? Because it's just drying immediately, and it's not looking good, man. It's uneven layers, and I'm like, fuck, it looks so bad. And so I was like, whatever. So I painted the whole thing. It looked pretty great. The shade matched exactly, but the problem is that it was different sizes, and so I'm like, it was different sizes at different spots on the paint. And so I'm like, fuck, you know, there's more paint in some areas, less paint in other areas. That's what I'm trying to say. Fuck, I'm sorry. So I'm like, oh man, what do I do? What do I do? Okay, this looks awful. I mean, it matches the shade perfectly, but it looks awful. So basically, this is what it looked like. This is exactly what it looked like, because there's no clear coat on it. And what happened with the clear coat really pisses me off, because it would have prevented a lot of this stuff from happening after what had happened and how it is now. But you know what? Whatever. I'll explain at the end of this video why I don't care anymore. And so I'm like, all right, well, here's the deal. And so I used all the touch-up paint. I got it on there. It took all day on like a Monday. It was last Monday when I decided to do this. No, it was before last Monday. It was... Jesus, it's been a while. I don't know, okay? It was like 9 days ago or something. So I finally painted it all and got it all looking decent. And then I'm like, okay, well, now it's time for the clear coat. Awesome. And yeah, it's time for the clear coat. I was like, sweet. Finally. So I'm going to put the clear coat on, and I'm about to go outside. And you know what happened? Well, I had already went to the store and sanded it down, tried to get it looking as good as possible. Didn't really help a whole lot. I mean, it kind of helped with the leveling thing, but it looked okay, but it still was, you know, more in some areas and less in other areas because I could only get 1,500 grit sandpaper. I ended up getting 600 grit or grain, whatever, later. No, it's grit. My bad. Which 1,500 is really, really light. It barely sands anything. It's like what you use on your nails, basically, if you were to, you know, use those. And it's really, really light. It doesn't hurt a lot of things. It's really good for paint and stuff like that. But it was a little too light for that amount of paint. And that paint was really, really hard. And so it stayed on there really, really well. And so I'm like, okay, so when I ordered the paint, the touch-up paint, I ordered the clear coat. So I'm like, all right, I'm ready to take this tiny little brush, ready to put the fucking clear coat on, get it done. It'll stay on. It'll look great, whatever. Because the shade matched perfectly. I was so content with how it looked, and I'm just kind of done, and I'll explain kind of why I'm done with all this, because it took hours to paint the whole thing, and I had to wait in between when it dried and everything, and do the next layer. It took forever, guys. It took quite a while to paint this area, so I'm like, all right, well, whatever, and so I'll decide to do that. Now, we get on to phase 2. So after I tried sanding it down, I finally got the clear coat, and I was ready to go. And so I go over, and right before I'm about to apply the clear coat, it falls off of the table it was on. I accidentally knock it off, and it breaks. It shatters, and all the clear coat spreads out, and it was this tiny little bottle, just enough to cover the area I was clear coating, and it just shatters. And I, turn it upside down. Some of it saved in the lid, but not enough to cover that area on my car. So I'm like, God fucking damn it. And so my dad had his touch-up kit, and so he had some clear coat with it also, but this touch-up kit was years old, and so the clear coat was not good enough. Now, I should have been more patient. I could have got spray clear coat. I should have thought about this more clearly instead of just immediately rushing to fix it, because I hadn't applied any clear coat to my car, and it would have been fine, right? So what I do is I go and I take all the clear coat that I had because it was about to dry, and so I just apply it to my car. I kind of spread it out and just apply it as best I can. It dries immediately, basically. I'm like, God damn it. So, I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? I need a whole bunch of area, a whole bunch of clear coat now, because I already put all this crap on it, and it's not even close to enough to cover it. And so I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And I really shouldn't have put that clear coat on. So, because I couldn't get spray for my car, I should have just sprayed it initially with spray paint, or figured out a way to use this touch-up paint and spray. They have bottles you can put it in, and you can spray it, but I didn't have one of those, okay? I just didn't. And so I didn't know what to do. And so I'm like, okay, I go and grab my dad's touch-up clear coat because he said I could use it or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so it started globbing up. It was awful. It was old. It was expired. This should not be used at all. And so I take it all out. I glob it all out in the car. And I'm like, fuck, dude. And I'm like, spreading it with a little brush, and it's barely spreading it all. And it just globs up all the way on there. And it looks even worse, dude. It looks like a 6-year-old with epilepsy painted it. And I'm just like, what do I do? Because the paint was uneven, but the shade matched perfectly. But if you got close, you're like, oh yeah, bad. And I really should have just left it with just the paint, no clear coat, whatever, gotten spray clear coat. Would have been much better, because my clear coat broke and I panicked. I didn't know what to do. So then I'm like, okay, well, this looks like shit. So I took my sandpaper and I started sanding it off. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to square one. I'm gonna repaint this. Okay, this just looks bad. I'm gonna sand off all this clear coat. And I thought I could just sand off all the clear coat. No, that adhered to the paint like there's no tomorrow, and it just ripped the paint right off with it also. And so I was basically back to square one. And this is a picture of what it looked like after I had put on the clear coat and sanded it off as best I could with the 1,500 grit sandpaper, which is very, very light, by the way. And so I'm like, fuck, dude. There's gray showing. I'm screwed. I can't just paint over this. There's clear coat on half of it and not clear coat on the other half. I got to sand this all off. So I went to the store and I bought 600 grit sandpaper as well as some spray paint. It was in a white, glossy white spray paint. I made several trips to the store, okay? This is just dumb. How long I spent doing this, especially how much money I spent. It was probably like $50 all in all with the paint, the clear coat, the equipment, yeah, it was about $50 for everything like that. And I ended up getting a whole bunch of equipment to spray paint it later, which I'll get into here in a second. So I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And so I was like, I was pissed. So I sanded it all off, and this is what it looks like all sanded off, and there's still some paint there, and I just could not get it off. So I'm like, you know what? Fine. Let's paint this. It won't get back to where it was with just gray, and I'm totally fucked. So whatever. I should have just left it with just the touch-up paint on there and gotten spray clear coat. I should have done it, but I didn't. And what can you do, right? It's too late for that now. I really don't care. I could not care less, and I'll explain why after this. So then I'm like, okay, so I get the spray paint, I get the grit sandpaper, and I'm like, all right, let's fucking do this. And so I get it all off, and it's looking okay, right? It's gray, and there's some white globs. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. So I go back to the store, and I go to a different store. I actually go to Home Depot, and I buy a whole bunch of plastic wrap, and it was only $2 for 108 square feet. It was a 12 by 9 thing of plastic wrap, and it was only $2, and I buy gloves, you know, latex gloves. I buy not respirators, but face masks, so there's no paint gets in my lungs or anything like that. And I already had glasses, which I didn't end up using. I should have used them, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter anything. It's just spray paint. So then again, I set up in my garage, and it was like an all-day thing. I'm pretty sure this was like the next day. And I set up in my garage. My parents are gone. I'm like, all right, I got this well-ventilated area. It's nice temperature in here, and I got the spray paint that was a glossy white, so it would match my car, quote, quote, match my car, because I did not have car touch-up paint for that make and model. It doesn't exist, and so I'm like, fuck. Or at least, if it does exist, I couldn't find it, so whatever, screw me. So I'm like, all right, well, here's what we'll do. I guess I will take it, and I set up all the plastic. I taped it all off, and this is the video for that.
All right, guys, so I have the entire thing taped and plastic up, so this is the only part exposed. This plastic goes all the way under the hood, so the headlight is good, and it's tucked under there as well. It's all the way around the entire area that I'm going to be spraying with spray paint, and I'm going to close the garage actually so I can get the area nice and you know, no wind. It's nice and dry. It's pretty ventilated, so yeah, my entire car is covered all the way till over here, so I just have to spray this little bit, give it a few coats, and I'll get right back to you guys.
And so I got ready to paint it. So I started spray painting it. It was looking great. It was matching the shade perfectly. Didn't spill any paint anywhere. I had it all plasticed off. I thought I did a really good job with all the plastic and everything like that. I was really proud of myself as like a professional painter. But yeah, it didn't, yeah, anyway. So I do that, I do all the coats and everything like that, I wait the proper amount of time in between layers, and it's looking as good as possible. Now, obviously the layers that I did of spray paint were equal, but there was still some leftover paint and residue in different levels of everything like that under it, so there's still some kind of texture under there where there shouldn't be, and so it's whatever. I don't really care anymore. Because I got it spray painted, and so before I took off all the plastic and everything like that, it looked like a perfect match. From this picture, it looks like a perfect match. I was so excited, and I was like, okay, good, I'm gonna get this, it's gonna look great. I'm so pumped. And so I took off all the plastic wrap and the tape, and I'm like, fuck, god damn it, this is how it looks. And so I'm gonna show a picture of it right now, and I sanded off the edges a little bit, and this is how it looks right now. And that's as good as it's going to look. And look, it's not a perfect match. It did not match nearly as well as the touch-up paint for obvious reasons. It's not the same shade. It's not the same mix. Whatever. White is white, but it's car paint. It's not just spray paint. And I'm not going to rattle can the whole hood. It's just not going to happen. So, you know, it matches okay. It's better than the gray on the white, but I ended up getting it sprayed, sanding off the edges a little bit, and I'm basically calling it. That's it. That's how it ended up looking, and it's, you know, spray paint. It's clear. It's an enamel, so it's like got the clear coat built in. It's good. I don't have to do anything more. And I tried to make it look as good as possible and as clean as possible, and that's the best job I did. But bottom line is the shades are not the same, so it's going to look like that no matter what I do. And because I could not get touch-up paint and spray, I'm going to say that again, sorry. I wish I could have, or else I totally want to use that, man. So yeah, I did that, and I'm like, you know what, whatever. And here's why I don't care anymore. Here's why I just do not care about it matching completely. Look, I'm not going to own my car for that much longer. It's not going to happen. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to get a new car. And I thought about it. I'm like, look, this isn't going to be the breaking factor. It's not going to be the mitigating factor for if somebody buys my car or not. It's a cheap car. It's about worth like $1,800. And my car is probably worth only like $1,600. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever. If you're not going to buy my car, you're not going to buy my car. This little tiny bit of paint on the hood isn't going to be the determining factor, so I really don't care. It doesn't matter in the end. I mean, I'm not going to keep this car for much longer. I can't wait to get a new car. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm really excited for my next car. I'm going to murder it out, get it all black, everything. It's going to look really, really sexy. Put the tires I have on my car right now on it. It's going to look really, really good. I'm going to get tinted. I'm going to get everything like that. I'm going to get blacked out lights, the whole nine. It's going to look sexy as fuck. But bottom line is, it's going to be a car worth murdering out. This is not a car worth murdering out. It's just it's cheap car I've owned for, you know, almost 2 years now, and I'm finally done with it. I've had my time. I've got my money's worth, and I'm ready to sell it. And you know, it's been an adventure, and I learned a whole lot about touch-up paint and spraying things. And dude, oh my god, it's been insane. I've learned so much. And it was kind of an interesting experience, and I'm not really glad I had it. I wish I just never had to deal with this at all. But hey, it's my fault. I hit that car. It's whatever, and I take full blame for that. And so, look, it was a learning experience for me, and that's what I got out of it. It cost about $500, all said and done. Everything, the fender, the paint, the guy to fix it, the whole nine, cost about $500, and all the equipment I got from Home Depot. And I did as good of a job as I could have done. And would I have done it differently? Yes, I would have just done the touch-up paint and bought spray clear coat and called it a day, because I broke the clear coat, and that sucks also. But I really hope you guys enjoy this story. Do not forget to smash that like button. Remember the fact that I fucking love you guys, and have a great day. Bye.